It's finally here. Power Rangers Cosmic Fury is on Netflix, and here's my review. Power Rangers Cosmic Fury is on Netflix, and I've decided to make this, spoilery review. All 10 episodes are there for you to binge, so check it out as soon as you can. And if you have seen it, let's talk about it. For the most part, I think it works really well at 10 episodes. In fact, the tight story and how it goes from episode to episode really conveys the urgency of the situation. Yes, Lord Zed and these new evil squid villains actually took over the galaxy, and most importantly, took over the Earth, in which the Cosmic Fury team had to escape to regroup, get new Zords, get new powers, and fight back. The action was great, and they handled the Q Ranger Zords pretty well, explaining that some of them are automated and some of them they actually control. And yeah, even though they couldn't get away from the Zord battles that really does show Japan rather than, say, Planet Altar, and is actually a little bit more proof that if they actually did original Zords, they wouldn't have that problem of seeing Japanese buildings all the time. You either work the entire thing with Japanese footage, or you work without it. And I think if this is the direction we're going with, having original suits, original fights, then it will have to eventually have original Zord battles. And yes, even though this is kind of apocalyptic in every sense, we have to remind ourselves this is a kid's show, and so yeah, the dialogue is for kids. But there are some dark situations here, like Javi losing his arm. Wow, that was kind of brutal. But don't worry, he gets a sick bionic looking arm and he still can play the guitar. But I think this is where the magic happens for this series. It's always been about the characters. It's always been about the Rangers. And we get some great character development here, even though we've known these characters since Dino Fury. Some standouts are like Izzy and Fern. Izzy, who's like overprotective of Fern, and Fern having to prove that she has the capability to take care of herself and eventually becoming the Cosmic Fury Orange Ranger. Amelia, who in the start of the episode after Zato was gone, she was able to bring the team together and actually give hope to the rest of them. And that's why she becomes the new leader, the Red Ranger. But I think one of the best character arcs in this series is actually going to be Ollie. He is fantastic as a villain. I am really surprised how good he is at being an asshole. His arc from good to evil and then good again is really something. And he plays an evil character so well, even his conversations with Lord Zed on how to be evil is interesting. And with an awesome costume to beat, he is by far the best character in this story. Which I think is one of the biggest themes of Cosmic Fury, that there is always room for redemption. Not only do we have Ollie turning from evil to good again, we are reminded with Heckle, who becomes the Dark Ranger, but he's a good Ranger, just like Tarek, who became a good guy, and also Mucus and Slither. Which eventually leads to the character of Lord Zed. This ultimate bad guy, which at the end he was able to be talked down, and the series took a pacifist approach to ending Lord Zed's reign. He is subjected to this nightmare where he has to live with Rita, his wife, giving orders to him to eternity. But Zato does mention that he could redeem himself in the future, at least this version of him. And I think that's one of the curious things. I thought this version of Lord Zed was the most evil version, the most powerful version before he met Rita, but I don't know, I guess I could be wrong. Which comes to one of the disappointing things about this whole thing is that they really built up Lord Zed to be this big, powerful being, and they're going to have this massive scale battle, or at least maybe that was just the first episode. Lord Zed was a victim to the Squid People anyway, and the Squid People became the ultimate villain rather than Lord Zed. I'm kind of left disappointed. They went with a pacifist approach and just talking about of a final fight. But maybe with repeat viewings, I can probably see what they were trying to go for. And finally, Zato going from one Ranger to Zenith Ranger to ultimately being the Morphin Master was pretty interesting. Especially when we go to the dream world and we find out that Zordon's ghost or essence or energy or whatever inhabited his body? That's crazy. But what's cooler about that is Billy finding that out, and it kind of just maybe puts a little bit of a open-end closure to him finding that Zordon is still out there. And yes, I believe Cosmic Fury does come after Power Rangers Once and Always, as in this one scene you do get to see behind Billy, and that's where Rita cracked that tube in Once and Always. So the scene where we see Billy in the Megazord with the Yellow Ranger in the back, that's not Trini, that's actually Min. And I love that Billy is not around just for one episode. He's actually very much part of the cast throughout the whole series. And it's cool that he's also the one that gave the Cosmic Fury their powers. And I like Mick as Ninja Steel or Heko as the Dark Ranger for the Dino Charge. And I love the Power Ranger moments where they combined weapons into that one weapon. They showed many Megazords from different Power Ranger series. I feel like if this show had a bigger budget, it could have been a bigger wrap-up for 30 years of Power Rangers. It was slightly disappointing as the last Power Rangers series of this Power Rangers era, but I still think it's a satisfying end to the Dino Fury team. Alright, what did you think about Power Rangers Cosmic Fury? Share your thoughts in the comments down below.